So Candace Parker is one of the greatest WNBA players of all time. A player who played up until the 2023 season, didn't play last season because she got injured, and then pretty much retired after that. But Candace Parker was talking about pretty much the offseason in the WNBA, and she was talking about it on Unrivaled. And one of the things with Unrivaled is they do tend to mostly just talk about the players in Unrivaled, and that's fair enough. Like, I've got no issue with that, like, mainly talk about the players in Unrivaled. But none of the people involved in this exact thing are Unrivaled. Or are Unrivaled, pretty much. None of them, other than Aaliyah Boston, who is currently playing right now as the Vinyl are getting beaten by what appears to be an unbelievable Lunar Owls team. But this is what she said. Everybody's talking about Atlanta, I'm just gonna be honest. Who's talking about Atlanta? Everyone's confused about Atlanta. I mean this. People are just confused about Atlanta. But everybody's talking about Atlanta. Everybody's talking about Phoenix. But I think people should be talking about more is Indiana. Everyone's talking about Indiana. Like, obviously in WNBA circles, they must be all talking about, let's add the two slow-footed centers and try play them together. Atlanta Dream. Over, what more people should be talking about is Indiana and their additions. They're talking about shooters on shooters on shooters. It's going to be tough to guard them. Yeah, it's going to be really tough to guard them. Their defense is going to be 10% better. Their offense was already unbelievable. Their defense is going to be 10% better. They're not going to be a good defensive team. But their defense is definitely 10% better. And with that, it's huge. And I'm going to go through, very invested to see how their defense looks like. It's not going to be, it'll be better. Going to be better. They have the best offense. It doesn't have to be great on defense. They have an extra defender in Sophie. Natasha Howard is better defender than Liz Smith. Improve, more stops, more turnovers. Their defense is going to be their offense. Their defense is going to be fine. Not going to be good. It's going to be absolutely, I will use the word fine for their defense. It will be out of 13 teams, 8th. That's my prediction. It'll be the 8th best defense. And I'm not going to go on points conceded per game, because I think they're going to play so fast that the points conceded per game is going to skew that. But anyway, I'm just going to show you guys some of these starting fives from the Fever. So, first of all, we have the greatest starter of all time, Christy Wallace. We watched this starting five. I'm sorry, we had to watch this team as a starting team. We had to watch Christy Wallace, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, Nalissa Smith, and Aaliyah Boston. There was also a game when Nalissa Smith was suspended. Well, she was dropped from the starting lineup and we saw Katie Lou Samuelson start at the 4. We have seen crazy starting lineups. And by the way, this starting lineup, let's keep going. This was a starting lineup at one stage. This was a team that Kelsey Mitchell had to play with. This was a team Kelsey Mitchell had to freaking play with for the Fever. In Nalissa Smith's rookie year, Danielle Robinson, Victoria Vivians was starting, Queen Egbo, Kelsey Mitchell, and Nalissa Smith. And at this stage, it all changed once Caitlin Clark came in. This is a team that has been horrific. This was the game changer, but this was a 5-win team. A 5-win team. They went 5 and 30. I think there was 35 games a year league that year. They won 5 games. 5 games. 5 games. They won 5 games this year. From that to a lineup of where you literally have Sophie Cunningham, who would have been the second best player on some of those teams, coming off the bench. Natasha Howard, all-star-ish level player. DeWanna Bonner, literally 4 that were on the all-star team last year and 1 all-star-ish level player in Natasha Howard. Candace Parker was right on that one. She was absolutely on the money. That the team that should be talked about the most in free agency. By the way, I think the team that are going to have the Atlanta Dream aren't going to be contenders. They're just not. The team, you've got 3 guards that want to play really fast and 2 bigs that want to play really slow. The synergy's not there. I do think they're going to win a lot. They're going to win more games, but I still see them, instead of the 8th seed, at best a 6th seed. I have this weird feeling the Connecticut Sun also are going to end up in the playoffs. I just have a really weird feeling they're going to be a playoff team. I'm not going to predict it. I just have a really weird feeling. But when it comes to the Dream, like the Dream are still something. And everyone's talking about the Mercury. The Mercury are an interesting team. And I would have thought the Mercury were going to get... Like, when I was judging the Mercury, I had the Mercury tiered as 4th. Even ahead of the Fever. Or say, even behind the Fever. I had them tiered as 4th. Before DeWanna Bonner came. Because I just assumed DeWanna Bonner was playing for the Mercury. And with DeWanna Bonner in, and the fact the Fever aren't done because they don't currently have a backup point guard. They're not done. So they're probably going to try either get off Katie Lou or bring someone in on the minimum and use one. Let their young players fight it out let the young players fight it out with Jaylen Brown for that last spot. That would be one thing. And yeah, it's an overall pretty decent thing to see, like, even them talking about in Unrivaled how dangerous Indiana are going to be, because it is something that people will kind of ignore a lot of the time in W media when a team they don't like is better. And Candace Parker is just a baller. Like, Candace Parker, like, one of the best players ever. At one stage, I think she was married to an NBA player. Her brother played in the league. Her brother was a hooper. Like, people do not know how good Anthony Parker was. People do not remember how good he was. He was a hooper. But, like, yeah, it's a big one, and it's good to see, obviously, players or people like Candace Parker continuing to talk positively about the Fever, talking positively about these players, because the players have been hooping. The team, what Kelly Krauskopf, what Amber Cox, the team that they have put together, and the fact is they've used their relationships. Like, Amber Cox, like, was a big part, was with Dallas, with Natasha Howard. Kelly Krauskopf drafted her. Stephanie White was her coach at the start, using all those connections to get her. When it came to DeWanna Bonner used to train, like, already has a relationship with Stephanie White, has a relationship with the assistant coach, has a relationship, I'm pretty sure, with the, like, city of Indiana, because I think she used to kind of be around, because I think her ex-wife played for the Fever, and she used to do a bunch of practice up in Indiana. So she has that relationship there. So they were able to use that relationship. Like, if it was Lynn Dunn, the team would have paid freaking Mercedes Russell a max contract. This team gets nobody if Lynn Dunn's still the GM. This team gets absolutely nobody. And with all of that, giving them the 8th pick was nothing. So they are such an interesting team in the season. And look, regardless, maybe the Fever are a big disappointment, but there's no way they're lower than 5th. There's no way they are worse. They're less, like, they're lower than the 5th best team in the W. Anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.